Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I've been off for like a year and I apologize. I wanted to do regular videos, but my past year has been completely crazy. So I want to start a series about stories from my life to try and help other people that may be in the same situation I'm in, or have already been in that situation, so they know they're not alone, or maybe they know somebody that my videos can help. I'm going to be talking about a whole bunch of different stuff that's happened in my life: child abuse, sexual assault. Today I want to talk to you guys about the couple times that I came close to dying. If you would like to watch this series, if you would like to hear more about my childhood, please like this video, subscribe, and I swear I will try and do regular videos. So yeah, let's get to the video. The first time I came close to dying, I was 8 years old. I lived in California at the time. This was 1995, way back in the day. It was me, my mom, and my stepdad. I believe we lived in like Sacramento, San Jose at the time. I can't remember exactly. We were looking for a new family car. My dad went through the paper, Craigslist at the time, and we found one that we liked. My dad called up the guy. We went to go meet him. And then we met up with the guy, and then he kept calling my dad sir, and it wasn't like a polite, like if he was Southern and it was saying sir. It was just creepy how he was saying it, and he was like really weird towards I got a really bad vibe from this guy. He was really weird towards my dad and like almost stalkery kinda. My dad is a big biker dude, my stepdad, and he's been my dad since I was 2, so he's all I know is my dad. I don't know my real father. That can be another video. So anyways, we get into the car. My dad starts test driving it. We're driving through California. My dad likes it, says he wants it. Made the mistake of telling the guy he had just gotten paid and had $1,400 in his pocket. My mom was pissed that he said that. The guy started acting more creepy towards my dad. He ended up taking us to a whole bunch of different places so we can make sure we liked the car. And then he said he had to run errands. So he was going to drop us off at the Jack in the Box so we can eat, and then he'd come back later, and then we can get the car and go home. So we had met up with the guy, I don't know, at like 10 in the morning, something like that. And then we didn't get to the Jack in the Box until like 8 or 9 o'clock that night. This was like an all-day thing for some reason. So we go eat, and we're waiting for the guy to come back. It's getting towards like 9, 10 o'clock at night. My mom is tired. She's pissed. She just wants to go home. She's like, just call a cab. Let's forget about this car. You're not getting it. So my dad did what he always did. Went through the phone book, called every cab company that there is to see who would show up first. So now we're waiting on whichever cab. The guy finally pulls up. And he has a couple guys in the car with him. And I'm like, what is going on? We go towards the car. The guy gets out with one of the guys that he had brought with him, and goes off to the side, tells us to get in the car, and he goes off to the side with this other guy, and they start whispering. I'm getting into the back seat, and there's a guy in the passenger seat twirling a knife, and I'm freaking out. And I look at my mom. My mom looks at me, looks at the guy, grabs me and pulls me out of the car. Looks at my dad and says, we're not getting that car. You want to get killed? Go ahead. We are not going. We're going to catch a cab. So my dad tells the guy, never mind, I don't want the car. I'll find something else. We're going home. The guy's insistent, no, get in the car. Just get in the car. It's fine. We'll get you home. My dad's like, no, this is not happening today. We're going home. We called the cab. We're fine. We're going. So my dad's kind of intimidating. So the guy was like, oh, okay, So we ended up catching a cab and getting home. Was like, I ran to my bed that night. I'm like, oh, sweet, who knows what would have happened to me and my mom. I know they would have went straight for my dad and grabbed all the money. Who knows? I don't even want to think about it. So that was the first time. The second time that I came close to dying, I was 11, so just a few years later, and I was living in Nevada. I lived in Reno, which is where I live now. And I was just a month away from turning 12. This was Mother's Day, like 1999, I think, something like that. And I was dreading going home from school because my dad was such an alcoholic at this point. And he was just psychotic, and so I was dreading going home. But I eventually went home, and I'm sitting in the living room. We lived on the 3rd story. And my dad grabbed something of mine and held it out the window. Our windows didn't have screens. And so it was like completely out the window. And I was like, Dad, just give it back, please, just stop. Just give it back. He's like, fine, if I can't throw this out the window, I'm going to throw you out the window. And he grabs me, picks me up, and holds me. I'm like halfway out the window, and I'm freaking out because all I see is cement. And I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? Get me out of here. Like, what is going on? I'm punching him. I'm trying everything to get back in without him dropping me. My life is like flashing before my eyes. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? So I keep punching him in the face. I'm like, Dad, let me go. Put me back in the apartment. What are you doing? He finally brings me back in. I'm freaking out. I can't breathe. I'm like, what was that? What are you doing? Because I idolize this man. He's been my dad since I was 2, and I know it was the alcohol, but still, when it's somebody that you love so much and they're doing something like that they would never do, it's really weird, because you want to hate them, but you can't. So I'm back in the apartment, and I sit on the couch, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell just happened. My dad sits down next to me, and he was like, oh, it's just a joke. I would never do that to you. And it's like, obviously you would. You just did it. He takes his lighter, and because he smoked, he takes his lighter, and he starts flicking my pants. And he catches part of my pants on fire. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, seriously? You think this is funny? What are you doing? To this day, the part of my leg that he actually caught on fire, it was just like a quick little thing, but still, I can feel it from time to time. And I instantly, like, flash back. And he was like, oh, I didn't get you. And I'm like, yeah, you did. It's my leg. I felt it. You got me. Stop it. And I was just waiting for my mom to get home from work. I was like, what the hell is going on? I go into my room and kind of lock myself in, waiting for my mom to get home. She finally gets home. They instantly start getting into an argument. And so I'm trying to stay out of it. And then the next minute, my mom starts screaming for me to call the cops. And she was like, just run, go. Just get out of here. Go call the cops. I'll be fine. Just go. And so I book it downstairs, run to my friend's house, call the cops, wait for them to come. They finally show up. I don't know what's happening to my mom, because my dad had a pretty extensive knife collection, so I'm like, I don't know, what's going on. She just told me to call the cops, and I left. Finally, I see my mom coming. She had lied to my dad, saying that she was going to go to the store, so she can get out of the house. And so I run to my mom, My mom starts telling the cops what happened to her. I'm telling them what happened to me. It's a big old thing. They finally go get my dad. It took them a while to get him out of the apartment. And then they arrested him. And it's sad seeing somebody that you live in handcuffs. But I understand because he was a total jerk that day and he needed a wake-up call. And so they ended up taking him away. He got a whole bunch of charges because he had terrorized me, and apparently that's a huge thing in Nevada. There's a whole bunch of charges for that. I remember me and my mom just slept in the living room that night because we just couldn't go that deep into our apartment because there was so much stuff of his, and we just couldn't do it, and we were freaking out. We eventually moved out of that apartment and moved in with family for a while because we just couldn't be in there anymore. It just gave us the creeps. So that's the second time that I almost died. Yeah, I still, to this day, have flashbacks. I think about it constantly because of my depression and my anxiety. In fact, 8 years old is when I started being depressed and suicidal. I could make a video about that and go more in depth if you would like. I wanted to share my stories to let people out there know they're not alone. You feel alone when you have depression and anxiety. You think it's just you and nobody understands, but I have been battling it for 22 years. I get it. I'm with you. I understand it. Yeah. So, and forgive the lighting. Nevada weather does what it wants. Yeah. So that is part of my childhood. There is way more that can be said. So if you would like those videos, please like this video, subscribe, leave me comments. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Yeah. See you next time.